You won't believe what they've done. It's crazy. It's undermined loads of stuff that we've been talking about on this channel for over a year. Now, the question is, have we been successful with pushbacks? Or is it one of those vote grabs? Let's find out. Yes, we're talking about net zero. Yes, that crazy BS agenda tactic which has been rolled out globally. And yes, apparently it's all down to us human beings for making the planet's weather systems what it's turning out to be. Do you really think that's correct? Or do you think it's an excuse for people, certain people, to make lots of money off the back of it and gain more power, more influence, etc.? Let me know what you think in the comments. So let's get straight into this right now. Yes, you won't believe it. They've actually bombastically tized it all, if that's a term. So we're looking at the production of diesel and petrol vehicles. Now, that has been extended from 2030 to 2035. Who remembers back in 2020 when our clown of a Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, said, yes, that's it, 2030, no one will be able to use petrol and diesel vehicles. What an absolute cat amongst the pigeons BS tactic that turned out to be. So it's been pushed back to 2035, another 5 years, half a decade on top. So you think, how did this happen? Do you smell a rat? I certainly do. Because when you look at our Prime Minister, who is unelected, by the way, yes, unelected. Seems like a reoccurring theme here, doesn't it? So, yes, who benefits? Now, that is the fundamental question everyone should ask when things appear to change nationally and, moreover, globally. Okay, who benefits? Well, certainly not us. The whole concept and reasons behind people electing for officials to do the day-to-day admin of the country, okay, they work for us, not the other way around, okay? So the idea of government is basically to ensure that people are healthy, happy and safe. My three mantras which I try to instill everywhere I go. People need to be healthy, happy and safe. Have you felt any of those three things over the last 10 years or so? Probably not. So anyway, we can sidestep into government policy and all the rest of it, but no. So yes, you will still be able to own, drive a petrol and a diesel vehicle right up to 2035. Cool. Okay, let's go into some more. The ban on oil and gas boilers is now been switched forward to 2035 as well. Now that was 2026, so very, very unrealistic. I'm sure you'll agree. Can you imagine trying to make it a law in the UK that if you had an oil or a gas boiler after 2026, you could face a fine of £15,000 or 1 year imprisonment? I mean, really? Do you really think they've got the balls to actually run with that? So that's what makes me think, are we being successful with our pushbacks, or is it a vote grab? Because I don't usually talk about politics. In my opinion, all of the main parties are all literally doing as they're told. It's the illusion of choice. So if you think Labour is good, Conservative is good, the Lib Dems are good, and all of the rest of it, to be honest, no. The way I see things is BS. It's a great big thing. And if you want to side with one over the other, then maybe you need to sort of look into how it all works, who benefits, what's changed, look at history. It's just literally a great big game. And it's one of the fundamental reasons why I do not vote. I've only ever voted once in my entire life, and that was for Mr. Bean. Yes, Mr. Bean here in the UK. I think he will do a much better job than anyone else over the last 50 years. This country is a joke, and I'm sure it's not just the UK, it's pretty much all Western nations. They're run by jokesters. So yes, a ban on oil and gas boilers has been put right back to 2035. So you're going to be absolutely fine to still use your gas boiler and your oil boiler. Okay, in my opinion, they are fantastic ways to heat homes. Wood burners, multi-fuel stoves are excellent as well. And no, I really don't think it makes a shred of difference to the global net zero policy of emissions. Okay, this whole country, 80 to 90 million people here in the UK, contribute 1% of global pollution. 1%. So that is absolutely just not worth doing anything about, in my opinion. So, and you've got yours, and feel free to vent and share your opinions in the comment section. It'd be really good to see what you guys are thinking about all of this. Now, also the home energy ratings. So we talked about this on a previous video. Now, an energy rating of C to be scrapped by 2028 for rental properties. That's a bit of a change, because currently the UK is right up there in all of Europe for having the worst energy efficient home stock in Europe. Yes, lots of old properties, not very energy efficient at all, etc, etc, etc. But we all know to upgrade it to what they want us to do is going to cost so much money, such a big change to our homes, which we just don't want to see, or we can't afford it, or a bit of both. It just makes crazy sense to me. And also they've scrapped plans. Now get this, they scrapped plans for having 7 different bins per household. Can you imagine the freaking lunacy of that? I mean, 2 wheelie bins is enough, no more. Adding another 5 on top of that, really? It's an absolute joke. And honestly, it just gets ridiculous. We are living in true clown world times. It really is. Now, we've spoke about this only recently, within the last 7 to 10 days, and already they've literally just quashed the whole thing, and they've amended it. Now listen to this. The boiler upgrade scheme was increased by 50%. So now the government will give you £7,500 towards the installation and buying cost of a heat pump. Now, some of you know my thoughts and feelings about heat pumps. They are right up there with smart meters, okay? In my opinion, you'd be absolutely crazy to consider getting a heat pump and or a smart meter. That's just my opinion. Because it literally takes away your control to heat your home accordingly. They can literally just turn it all off if you've got a smart meter and you've got no heating. So if you say something naughty online, like I often do, bang in trouble. You want to try and do whatever you can to become less reliant on the grid and the government. The more you can do that, the more freedom you are going to gain in that way. Also, when you deep dive a little bit into this vehicle thing, like we touched on at the start of the video. Now, German vehicle production of electric vehicles, EVs, how snazzy is these algorithms? It's crazy how they churn out all of this stuff. Yes, EV. Now, listen, now Germany is one of the biggest car manufacturers in Europe, okay? The UK, our car industry is long gone. It's absolutely gone. And just a quick side note, how things changed when we introduced robotics into the car manufacturing sector. Lots of people lost their jobs, etc. Obviously, we know what's happening with China, their human rights, and they've got no health and safety pretty much. And they can manufacture and produce loads of stuff very, very cheaply, and we can't compete. Hence, our car sector in the UK, the manufacturing sector, has pretty much died. So what we got in Germany is they are the leading ones in Europe, and they literally can't compete with Japan, China, and even Korea for that point, okay? So the German 2030 goal for migrating over to EVs and to stop the use of petrol and electric, they've also bumped it to 2035 before our lovely Prime Minister decided to make that jump as well. So yes, I do smell a rat when you see all of these things popping up in other countries, okay? Let me know if you guys are watching in America, what's been happening in your part of the world with this 2030 net zero blah blah goal agenda thing. It's crazy. And listen to this, the cheapest EV that you can buy at the moment is £20,000. How many of you watching right now have got £20,000 that you can just take out the bank and go and buy one? I would say probably 95% of everyone watching this video will not be able to do that, and I am one of them. This car that I drive, it's a £1,800 old banger because I live in the middle of nowhere and there's no point getting anything nice because it's got to get bashed up. So that's pretty much how we roll. No one can afford £20,000 on a new car. Listen to that, new car. We're going to touch on that in a sec. Now, they pretty much last between 4 and 6 years and then they're done. The battery life of EVs is ridiculous. It absolutely is ridiculous. And you know, lithium ion, which I've looked into with the stuff that I use with the solar panels and chargers and that sort of thing. Incidentally, if you want to look into that, there's a link below for that stuff. It's really cool. Thinking about going off grid, that's a great start to get into EcoFlow. They're brilliant. But when we look into the batteries that they put in the cars, they're just going to literally diminish after every charge. The more you charge them, the more they're going to run out over time. And yes, 4 to 6 years and then they're done. And guess what? You won't be able to sell them. There will be zero, pretty much, second-hand electric vehicles in the car market. So what does that mean? Yes, you won't be able to buy second-hand EVs. If you do, they're going to be crap. They're not going to have the power. The batteries are going to take longer to charge. They're going to drive shorter distances before they require charging up again. They're a joke. They're heavy. They're going to put loads of wear and tear onto the roads, which are already crumbling with potholes. It's a travesty. And there's just not the infrastructure to keep these bloody electric vehicles charged up and running. Where's all the power coming from? Crazy. We're going to go on to that, a bit about China right near the end of this video. Just stay tuned for that little bomb blast. It's insane. I'll tell you that for free. So yeah. Excuse me. So there's no second-hand car market with EVs. Fundamental. Most of the cars bought and sold here in the UK and have been since the year dot have mostly been second-hand. So can you imagine, where are the people going to get lots of money to buy these green, clean, blah, blah EVs? And no, they are far from clean and green. Look at the manufacturing process of an EV. It's crazy. So going back onto this, the UK is the 4th highest borrowing country, the 4th highest in the on the planet, borrowing loads of money. So that's not good. I've always been of the ilk that if you can't afford it, don't buy it. And of course, we all know what happens when people borrow money. There's interest and it has to be paid back. Obviously, you've got like the central banks, they loan money to the Bank of England, and we've got to pay it back with interest. And where's the interest come from? Oh yeah, a myriad of tax increases. Would you agree? I think it's crazy. Look how many taxes there are here in the UK, and it's only going to go up. It's never, ever going to come down. So yeah, we are being squeezed like proverbial lemon in a sense. It's nuts what's going on. So listen to this. The UK in 2018 was the 5th largest economy on the whole planet. Now, fast forward to 2023, we are 7th. So yes, we are not as good as we were those years ago. It's crazy. Now, like I said before, when you've got Germany and you've got the UK both pushing back their 2035 time where it's going to be now, China's net zero is 2060. So why is everyone else in the world 2050 and why is China 2060? Guess what? China currently, this is the latest statistics and data on this, they are building 2 coal power stations every single 7 days. Do you know how long it takes to build a coal power station? Do you know how much manpower, how much machinery, how much energy, how much materials, all of the rest of it, what's involved to create a coal power station? Rather a lot. And they're doing 2 every single week. Now that's crazy. Can you imagine the pollution and stuff what China's putting out? Like I said, we contribute 1% to the frigging global pollution. 1%. Now, like I said, is this down to us pushing back because we've had it up to here with all these crazy, stupid climate change policies, which I believe is stupid. Okay, if human beings weren't here, I would reckon that the planet would be doing exactly the same thing weather-wise. Okay, lots to do with the sun, solar cycles, and yes, we are all, well, I'd like to think so, are aware of there is a genuine weather manipulation program going on globally, and it has been, especially since the 90s. Okay, do what I done. Find old photographs when you was a kid. Okay, 70s and 80s. Look at the photographs. How many white lines in the sky do you see in the 70s and the 80s? No, not one single one. And let me tell you this, my dad has taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photographs. And when we look through them, no, not one single chemtrail. Started in the 90s, and look what's been happening to the climate globally. And we all know about HAARP as well. There's not just one HAARP facility, which used to be over in Alaska near Fairbanks. No, there's over 20 HAARP technologies in operation right now globally. And you tell me that all of this weather crazy stuff is all down to us driving around on our diesel vehicles? Hell no, we won't go. We're not standing for this. So it's either pushbacks have literally pushed our crazy Prime Minister into a corner, forcing him to make this big change, and it is a big change, or is it because it's a vote grab, because the elections are coming? Yes. And let me tell you this, the other guy, Mr. Starmer, he wants to keep all of this net zero 2030 thing on track. He doesn't want to push it back. So that looks like, to me, how I feel all this is going is it's a vote grab. That's what I believe. And with the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, all of their agendas, they obviously designed this years ago. They had an idea this sort of thing would happen, what we're going through in a moment. So they gave it a 5-year wiggle room. And I believe they've used that clause to sort of put everything back 5 years. Because they know that lots of us are waking up to the BS. Yes. And that is fundamental. Another video I've done recently, which is doing quite well, I urge you to watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about, the online safety bill. Okay, they are trying to silence people like myself and others talking about this stuff, because they know that people are waking up, and they're trying to do through Parliament whatever they can to silence people like me, because at the rate that people are waking up to this BS, it's game over for them in about 2 years. It's that crazy. It's insane. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about everything which I've just talked about, because yes, this is quite big news. This affects a lot of things. We've spoken about all of these sorts of topics over the last 12 months, and all of a sudden it's just changed and rolled back 5 years, giving us in the prepping community more time to plan and prepare accordingly. So all of those people that fell for the EV BS game, yeah, they've all been caught up in a great big joke, and they fell for it. Okay, it's the same thing with all of this which happened in 2020. Lots of people fell for that. Okay, just how it is. So you guys stay aware, stay alert, keep your eyes on a swivel, and your head too, for sure. You need to. Now, if you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel. We've got new subscribers and new members joining the community at its lowest rate, £3 something a month, or whatever it is. New members are joining all the time, and it's awesome. And yes, there will be a live stream this Friday, as always, at 8 p.m. to around 9:30. We're going to talk about stuff like this and anything else. If anything changes in the next 24 hours, we don't know what the live stream is going to be about, but it's going to be of interest. And it's good because you guys in the chat make it all worthwhile. And also, hit the thumbs up. It really helps. And if you can, this helps more than anything. Share this on WhatsApp, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, all of that good stuff, and TikTok too. It really helps get this out there, because we are being shadow banned, me and a few others, and it's unfortunate that these videos just don't get promoted by YouTube like they should do. So that's it in a nutshell. I'll thank you all for spending your time watching this video. You guys take care. Thanks for watching, and stay funky.